So, good evening, everybody. Can't even get my words out already. Everyone just started. So, I hope you're all having a good day and you're enjoying the cold weather out in the UK and that. So, I thought I'd just come out in the bike shed and do a bit of cabling. You'll have to mind me a sec. Just making a coffee. It's a bit nippy. So, but yeah. So we're going to be doing a bit of cabling this evening, and like I said on last video, I don't know how easy it is to kind of like show people like cabling. It's not really like something you can generally see that well. Oh, this is going to be the worst coffee on earth. Oh no, look at that. Oh, it's like someone's pissed in my fucking cup. I told the wife she had one job. I said a little bit of milk, just a smidge of milk, but let me just tip some of this away. There we go. Alright, we'll start this again. Alright, so yeah, you know what, I'm not even going to cut that out, I'm just going to leave it. I was actually going to pour my drink before I hit record, but the phone just started recording, as it normally does. Oh, that's better. Alright, so yeah, we're going to be doing a bit of cabling. So I've already cut some bits to length. Obviously, first tip I can give you is the gear and the brake are different, not just different sizes. See, brake spirals on the inside, whereas gear is in strands. So basically, when you're clicking and indexing and that's under load, you'll find that that doesn't bend, whereas the brake will have a little bit of flex and it'll allow it to go in just a little bit. So I'm going to do that. Obviously with your lengths as well, always offer them up to the actual bike and the shifter. Make sure you've got the right kink, because you don't want to kind of do it in a straight line, but then when you turn a little bit, obviously it's then right up tight against the frame, so you don't want to do that. And always use kind of like decent quality cables. Now the ones that I'm using, like, they're all Shimano, so you can't go wrong there. We're using Jaguar ferrules as well. Yeah, Jaguar ferrules for the brake and the gear. Obviously we're running cantilevers on this, so we have got the little Onza pills that we're going to use just to brace the straddle wire. So, because you will have the straddle wire that runs across the brake as well. So that's all good. I have got the straddle wires somewhere in that box down there. So I will find them. Oh no, I've got the straddle wires there. So as you can see on the retro bikes, you do want the straddle wires that kind of have that kind of little lever just there as well, just so it's easy to unclip from the brake. So these straddle wires. So for anyone that is watching that's too young and don't remember cantilevers, obviously you have your pill, you have your cable what comes straight down from the lever, then you have your straddle wire that goes across to each brake arm like that. So we'll make that happen. When you're cutting your cables, don't use normal pliers. You want actual proper cutters. Now, I would say, and I will say, and I'm going to say it, is the Park Tool ones are relatively quite expensive. But the only thing I would say, I have used the cheaper ones and they do the job. Now, you've got some benefits with these. One, they're bigger. So you have got that better click. A lot of the cheaper ones, they are quite small, so you really have to kind of like crunch. And then the only other thing I would say with Park Tool is, especially in the UK, is the warranty. So it's obviously a lifetime warranty, so not lifetime of me, expected lifetime of the product. So if I'm using this over a year and it blunts off and it starts going crap, as long as I've got my receipt, I send it back to Park Tool and fingers crossed I get a replacement. Hence why most of the workshop here is Park Tool minus a few bits, so it kind of helps. So yeah, going on from there, I'll start cabling. I'm going to do the gears first because they're going to be a bit more simpler. I would say when you have cut your little ends, make sure that they have opened up a little bit. Usually I have got like a little pokey bloody scribe tool somewhere. It's floating around the workshop. But anything to hand, even if you've got a pen, just make sure the end's nicely opened up. And then obviously make sure you've got yourself some nice wet lube as well. I use Muck Off when it smells nice, and I find the consistency of the actual oil quite nice for the actual cables as well. So, but I'm guessing any oil is better than none. Some people will say, well, you don't need to lube them because you've got your nylon kind of like plastic straw on the inside, but a little bit of lube just makes it a lot freer, goes through a lot nicer. So with anything, always just make sure you've got a decent bit of lube down that cable. And then obviously you've got your end ferrules as well. I always find it a bit weird, like names. Like obviously you've got your ferrules, like if you had V-brakes, you've got your noodle, your rubber noodle, and then obviously your cable ends, which most people will just say cable ends, but in the UK we generally call them nipples. So not these kind of nipples, them kind of nipples. So we have got some like nice, a little more green on there for some reason. They're quite popping though. Yeah, they'll pop out quite nice on this bike. So yeah, and go from there. So it is what it is. Like I say, I haven't got a cameraman or camera woman, so it's hard to go like, you know, this is where it goes, but it's all kind of generic. All you got to do is make sure that one, you're taking your time, and anyone should be able to cable up a bike really. I have been teaching my 12-year-old, as and when it's not too cool for school, to fix bikes. I think it's a bit of an art that's kind of dying in the industry, to be fair. I don't know about the rest of the world, so please drop a comment down in the comments section, but the UK generally doesn't pay that well for a bike mechanic, you know. And obviously with the whole of Europe and, well, the whole world at the moment, especially the UK, everything's going e-bikes. So everything's e-bike, 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 which is all well and fine. There's a lot, we're expecting eventually in the UK to be a lot more kind of like trail centres designed specifically for e-bikes. And obviously there's a lot of restrictions in the UK in terms of speed, because our e-bikes can only do like, it's like 15.5, 16 mile an hour under British standards, but I know that a lot of other countries you're generally probably looking around 20. But I've rode some crazy e-bikes that are doing like 30, 40 plus. And that's scary on a bike, especially like a bike with these like dodgy Chinese kind of e-bike kind of fitting kits that aren't designed to go on bikes, and they're kind of just strapped on with a hub that's got a motor in it, and you're riding this bike and it's doing 60 and it's never been designed to do that speed, and it's just like, wow, scary stuff. So yeah, like that's where we are in the UK in terms of bikes. Hence, and a big reason why I kind of wanted to do this bike channel, to kind of like promote retro bikes a little bit more, because you know they do get old, but is I've found with the retro bikes is they just last. You know, this Marin Eldridge is what, 1992, so it's going on 30 years old, and it's all been freshened up. It's all had new paintwork done. You know, we're keeping it as retro as possible, and it's like, when this is done, it's going to be like a brand new bike, so can't really complain with that. So yeah, as you can see there, I've literally just lubed up the outer cable. I've left enough loop there. If I made the loop any bigger, it would have rode down onto the actual cup itself. So I've left it at that point, so when you turn, you have got that ability to turn without kind of damaging out. But I will put an Invisiframe strip, a frame protector, so to speak, on that area as well, just to make sure that it don't rub off that fresh new paint. So, and then obviously make sure it's running through the correct guide at the bottom bracket as well, because the last thing you want to do is basically not have it go through that guide. It's just running on the fresh frame, and then basically it's just cutting a line into your bottom bracket, and I have seen that as well. So you don't want that. And again, just getting your loops right. It's like, if for example on the rear mech that I'm just doing now, if my loop, if that loop was too long or too short, it would generally cause gearing issues. So I did make sure that it's right, it's quite a nice kind of like loop over. So I will put this in. So as you can see there as well, when I'm putting it through, kind of just work that oil through. A couple of drops on the cable, bish bash bosh. One of my favourite sayings, that, bish bash bosh. And then I'll run that down and index that through the frame. I have put a little bit of Invisiframe just there as well, so that will stop any frame damage from happening there. And then that goes through, and I've got a nice loop there, so that it doesn't look too stupid, not too big, where it is just touching the frame, Invisiframe. So that one's all the way in. Obviously that's ready to kind of like bolt up into the rear mech. And then front mech's even easier, because front mech, it's just one piece of cable. So it runs down that straw and then up from the bottom bracket, and then it engages the front mech from there as well. So we will need to do the final tuning, but I think after this video, the only last thing to do really would be to do the full final check over and make sure that it's all spot on, all set up. Obviously torque up all the bolts, make sure everything's tight, and yeah, full final setup. So I think after this video, you're probably only going to get one more where I'm actually doing something on it, and then I'll probably just do a final review and then a final kind of like cast over the bike, just so you can see everything a lot clearer. And I do apologise for if it's a bit blurry, because it is night time. I have been at work all day, and so it's a bit dark in here. Obviously I've not long just finished building this, and like I said, I've still got tools to come in. I've still got to wire in lights as well, into a breaker board, but it's coming to the end of October now, so it's getting dark anyway. So I think for now I'll just be running the lights on the waterproof extension in from the house, and just do that for now. Just running electrics from the house, that's gonna be a nightmare anyway, and it needs to be done properly. So I'm not an electrician by far. Alright, so that's the gear cables in. What I will do, so I'll just get my little Allen key, is I will tighten them. So always pay attention as well on how the cables come over and actually connect into the actual mech itself. See this one, you can generally see the line on there, so it's going to be a bit difficult with that. Let's grab another Allen key. There we go. So yeah, that's where we are. We're here with the bike. Last little bits. I did notice as well when I got back, I had a couple of extra subscribers as well on the channel, so I appreciate you. I appreciate that. And yeah, really, I probably should do a video on, like, you know, why I made the bike shed. One, probably because the wife was moaning. Make sure if you drop your bolt, you look to the floor and see where it's gone, because could have lost that one. It could have been a doozy. Yeah, wife was moaning about bikes, tools. Plus I wanted a space where I could just literally come out and tinker with bikes. So in regards to obviously setting gears as well, I've already checked the limit on there just to make sure that when I put that cable in and I just nip that up ever so slightly, that's going to be fine. So because they're tight, obviously you've got your cables all loose. So what I'm going to do is, it's called pre-stretching obviously the cables in. So you get a bit of that because the inner cables will stretch over time. So you want to be careful doing this because you don't want to just crank your levers on to get some of that cable stretch out. So what I'm going to do is just put, as you can see there, just a little bit of tension on that cable, just so it's under tension. And then same with the rear, probably index it up to, is that 2? 1, 2, 3. So I've indexed that up 3, so both of those are under a slight little bit of tension, but not enough to kind of cause or make them mechs warp in any way as well. So that's the gears in. I can kind of just leave them now, stretching in a little bit, and get some brakes on as well. So yeah, brake cables again, relatively really easy. Yeah, that's about it. I think, you know what, I'd say doing cables, right? Well, doing cables is not boring. I think doing the videos for cables might be a bit boring. I don't know how you lot feel about that. Oh, the dog's come in. So now all I've done there is that little end is a little hole in that chicken drumstick lever. You just literally line it up with the holes in the adjuster, and then that's your cable in. And then same with the back as well. We'll just stick both in because it's going to be relatively straightforward, straight in really. I was thinking if I at least get the cables in tonight, then tomorrow I could probably do the setup, final checks, final adjustments, try and make that as easy as possible to kind of show you guys any tips I wrote. But it's quite difficult with filming in one hand and then kind of like try and show you in the other. Teaching people how to fix bikes is always easier in person, I'd definitely say that. So line that up, there we go, and wind that adjuster in. Now the front one, it's only a little cable. Look at that lot, the size of my hand. That's because it's just going from there to that little cable stop just there, and then it comes around that wheel straight down in between those two cables, and then obviously it sits on the pill down there as well. So make sure they're all cleaned up. There we go, yeah, they're all cleaned up. Bit of trusty oil, and if anything, let me know if you've just enjoyed listening to me ramble on. Some people might, some people like, because I was thinking like, usually on videos I usually stick a bit of music in the background, but I hate the music. Like, I watch a lot of people kind of like do restorations on cars, and I watched a few people do restorations on bikes, and I find the music sometimes be a bit off-putting. But then it's also boring if it's just complete silence. Oh yeah. So yeah, let me know how you feel. Any advice, really, any advice. Always keen to take any advice. Never be ashamed or worried about taking advice from people. It's how you learn sometimes. Like, you know, and I have had some comments on this channel where people have put their own opinion on about what they would do and why they would do it different, which I think is fantastic, you know. So, well, I'll leave that there because it's going to need the pill going on as well. And then we'll get this cable on. Give that a little stabby there. Stabby there. Clean out those little bits of nylon straw, and then pop a bit of oil down there. Pop a bit of oil down there. So, getting close to Christmas as well. Oh, Christmas. Oh, you know what, I do like Christmas. First of all though, I'm going to enjoy Halloween. I actually really love Halloween, and I think it's a shame that the UK doesn't enjoy Halloween as much as some of the rest of the world. You know, I think the way, I don't know, probably like when you see how people enjoy Halloween, like in places like America and Canada and all over the world really. I think the UK is a bit boring in terms of Halloween. So, which is crazy because I was in the supermarket the other day and I saw the Halloween section. I was like, oh, I'll go and have a look at what they're doing down there. It's Halloween section. Oh yeah. Well, I went down and they had like a little tiny section for Halloween, and then they had 2 entire aisles of Christmas stuff. I was like, what's going on here? Right, so what I'm going to use is noodles for, not noodles, donuts. See, stupid names. So I'm going to use, oh god, it's sticking. I'll use some donuts, and what I'll do is, because I know that the gentleman's bike, who it is, likes a lot of donuts on his top tube. And then what I always do is I tend to put more on, because I know he likes loads, so I put loads on. And then I always say if it's too many, then you can just snip them off with some scissors. So, and I did it, if you did go back and watch the Specialized video, I put loads on. Well, I didn't, my son did, because he was helping with that. But he's busy with school and so on. So let's stick loads of those down there, look. There we go. Got loads of them down there. Oh yeah. And each one of them is like 3 little donuts on each one. So yeah. I'll stick some of these down. Stick some of these down. Boom. Right. I don't know how much, well, I don't know how long I'm going to keep you watching tonight. I don't know if you want to watch. I'm like 21 minutes already. But the one thing I didn't want to do is do like a long video and then do another long video doing the same thing. So I think I'll just talk a bit more crap to you for a little while until it's all on. Because what we'll do is I'll stick some oil in this one. Then I'll show you what I mean with the Onza pill. I will then call that a video because I don't want to just bore you to death, generally speaking. So what we've got here is, the one thing I didn't do is open up the moles, and the moles are a bit crap. So another piece there, which I'll cut. So, and this is what I mean about the cables. So that one, as you can see there, is cut, but it's all crap. So I'll line that up, and then that's what I want. And then there, one quick snip, which will leave it generally open. So see that side there, look, that'll be fine. So what I'll do is get that cable, that good old cable there, stick that on there, poke that through. There we go. I'll poke that rubber like that. What's the dog doing? We check the dog. Ollie. Oh, dog's gone in the house. Alright, a little bit of oil. Boom, 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 boom. A little splodge of that. Where's the other fowl gone? It's down there somewhere. Oh, I see it. Peekaboo. Alright, and that's on. Oh, I want the writing the other way, and that's so that's me being anal. That is because I looked at it then and was like, oh, I want the Shimano to like stare at me, so we'll make that happen. I don't know why, it's just all the little bits like that I'm a bit anal about. So alright, so tuck that underneath there. Question is, could that be a mil or two shorter? I reckon that could be a couple of mil shorter. So we'll make that happen. Couple of mil shorter just means then it's not going to be sticking out at a weird angle. There we go. There we go. There we go. So, oh, Shimano. Yeah, so anytime you want to jump in the comments and let me know what you're riding in terms of retro bikes. And I've got a few people that are subscribed to the channel, one or two that have also got their own channel in terms of retro stuff. And I have checked your channels out and I think they're actually quite amazing. And I will give those a shout out in the review because I can't remember. I'm useless with names, basically. So, oh yeah. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Yep, there it is, that's in. So I'll quickly show you before I let you all go off and have your tea. So I've got the Onza pills. So there's the Onza sign. So as the cable comes down, it's got just a little grub screw just there. So on the front, for example, when we pull this down, I can basically set that Onza wherever I want to. But for now, I'm going to nip it up. Just nip it up ever so slightly, because then it'll be easier to gauge when, well, as and where I want it really, because I think with it, I'm going to have to play with the straddle wires, because with the cantilevers you want them in a specific position, just so you can optimize your brake. So I think I might have to fiddle with the straddle wire as it comes over to get the height right, to get the straddle wire sitting exactly where it needs to be, just so the cantilevers aren't sticking too far up or too far down like that. Some cantilevers are a bit different. So yeah, so you've literally just spent Jesus, wow, nearly 30 minutes listening to one, me talk crap, and two, watching a video that you can't hardly see because it's dark outside and my coffee's going cold. So on that note, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you got this far, have a good evening. I hope you sleep well, and yeah, take care.